Hello everybody, my name is Lena and welcome to this haul that's probably going to be the last haul for at least a couple of months. Basically we are quarantined here and I don't really feel like ordering books because the delivery guy doesn't deserve to be basically infected, just in case, so I will have to survive without buying books, which is going to be super hard, but we're trying it. So let me show you the books that I've acquired in the past month and a half, something like that. The Last Mile in Thunder City by Luke Arnold. I wasn't really drawn to this book at first, but I saw Holly's video where she basically said that this was a mixture between Eleanor and The Wolf Among Us, and those two video games I love, so I definitely needed to give this a try. This is one of my 5-star predictions, so I'm really curious about how it's going to go. Then I have here Broken Angels, I almost said Altered Carbon. Broken Angels by Richard Morgan. This is book 2 in the Takeshi Kabak series. The first book is actually called Altered Carbon, that's why it might sound familiar to you. I regained my interest in the series with the second season of the TV show coming out. I read the first one this month and surprisingly really enjoyed it. So I just decided to, why not just continue with the series? Although apparently this second one takes place again, just like years and years in the future. But the thing about Altered Carbon is that we have this super futuristic setting where conscience and personality is basically storage on this thing in the back of your neck, and if you die you can basically put that thing on another body and you will be back again. We follow Takeshi. He's been in storage for quite a while now and he's offered his freedom in exchange of investigating the kind of suicide of this rich guy, where he's the only one thinking that he didn't actually commit suicide. And as I told you, the first was actually really good. I really hope you have like a high tolerance to boobs because they are everywhere in these books. Then I have here Diamantine by Andrew Rowe. This is the second book in the Wielders and Weapons series, which is actually a spin-off of the Arcane Ascension series. So I had to read this one. You shouldn't really read this series without having read the Arcane Ascension because this is kind of a direct continuation of the series. There are spoilers in the beginning of the book and in the end for that, so I would start in order, but you do you. The thing about these ones is they are so fast, so they are full with humor and they are so entertaining. They are much shorter than the Arcane Ascension books, so I highly recommend this one. In this one we actually follow Keras, and he just recently arrived to this new land and he has this shapeshifter dragon as his companion and his magical talking sword. The Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson. This is the third book in the Truly Devious trilogy and I'm so excited to finish it because the first book was such a discovery. I enjoyed it so badly, but the second one was just like kind of a really meh book. It wasn't as good. It was still good, but it wasn't as good as the first one. So I'm just really excited to see how it's going to end. I've seen some mixed reviews about it. Some people really like the ending, some people really hate the ending, so let's see what I feel. In this series we have two different timelines. We have the first timeline that is set on the present where we follow Stevie. She's really interested in true crime and she receives this scholarship to go to this super prestigious academy where she can basically learn more about true crime. She's really interested in going there because a really weird murder happened. I don't know, it was just like many years ago and she's always been fascinated with it. So we also follow the timeline of the murder and it's just so fascinating. This is Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. I have here a book that I basically know nothing about. The only thing that I know is this is a kind of mystery thriller with a really weird sci-fi twist at the end. And I love that kind of book. But apparently this is kind of just like a 50-50 situation with 50% of the people really hate the ending and 50% of the people love the ending. So I don't know, I've been really in the mood for thrillers lately, so let's see what happens. I really have no idea what is going on with this book, but I really prefer to go into thrillers not knowing much. Then I have here the Smoke Thieves by Sally Green. I didn't know that it had spirit edges, and I was just like, ooh, damn, when I received it. The thing that I know about this book is that we basically have this world where they hunt demons for their essence, something like that. That is a thing that actually really interests me. I'm kind of obsessed with demons and monsters in general, so I thought, why don't just give this one a try. This is actually a YA fantasy, and this is going to be a trilogy, I think. We're going to move from this super quick. This is The Lord of Chaos by Robert Jordan. This is book 6 in the Wheel of Time, and we're going to be just seeing these books all the time because I buy one a month. So sorry. Finally, the paperback version of Tiamat's Wrath finally came out. This is book 8 in the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey, and I've been dying to read this, and I have to wait because I own all of these short paperbacks. They wait at least, I don't know, a whole year, maybe less, to release this version of the book, and it's just like so frustrating. But if you've never heard of The Expanse, you should read it. This is a great sci-fi space opera book where we have our solar system and we have Earthers, Martians, and Vultures. They are constantly fighting each other, especially Mars and the Earth, and Vultures are always left aside because no one cares about the Vultures. And the first one is kind of a more noir detective story, and on the same time we follow the crew of the Rocinante trying to find out why their ship was taken down by this other super cool ship. So, you know, just read The Expanse or watch the TV show The Wolf of Oren-Yaro by K.S. Villoso. This is the first book in the Chronicles of the Beach Queen. We follow Talion on, I think it's her wedding night. She kills her husband or something like that, or her husband goes missing, and she's basically been ruling on her own. But many years later, she receives this kind of letter, something like that, saying that his husband is alive and that they need to talk or something like that. I don't know. I just been thinking that this book is going to be really good, so why not? This is The Devil's Dream by Shane Silvers, and this is kind of a, not a retelling, but a story based on the myth around Dracula. We have kind of native mythology also in there. Something weird, but I don't know, I just really enjoy books with vampires. Well, adult books with vampires, so I don't know. I thought that it was kind of good. The cover just reminds me so much, just like a video game. I don't know. This month I also bought A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kammerer. This is the second book in the Cursebreaker series, and I read A Curse of Dark and Lonely this month and I loved it. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, and I was basically blown away. The thing that I know is that this book is actually more centered around Gray and not Harper. I'm completely fine with it because Gray was my favorite character from the first one, so no pressure here. The first one, A Curse of Dark and Lonely, was basically a retelling of The Beauty and the Beast. The beauty basically came from our world and brought to this magical world. It was really good. I'm so surprised by it. Then I have two books in here. This is Crown of Feathers and Heart of Flames by Nikki Puerta. This is book 1 and this is book 2. So I basically finished this book this month and I was so desperate to read the second one that I have already bought it. In the world that Crown of Feathers is set, magic is basically everywhere, but especially in these animes, they are people who can actually communicate with animals. And the most important of them are the Phoenix Riders. So we follow Veronica and Val. They are two sisters that are actually trying to find two Phoenix eggs so they can become Phoenix Riders. And at the same time, we follow Seb. He's also an animage. He's suppressing his ability because he was forced to join the army. The empire that holds this army is not very fond of animages in general, so they are trying to annihilate them. So yeah, it's a really good dynamic all the time. Oh, this book was magnificent. For being YA, this was so complex. The characters were amazingly done, and the world building was astonishingly good. The plot twist at the end was so good. I saw it coming for a while, but still, it was so good. Then I have here The Broken Eye by Brent Wicks. This is book 3 in the Lightbringer series, and I was kind of disappointed by the second one, but I said that I was going to continue with the series, and I'm going to do it because I think that it's going to be worth it at the end. So let's just keep going. Like, the second book doesn't exist. Well, that ending was just like, I think that I'm going to continue with the series soon because I think that I can binge read all of them fairly quickly. So it's probably going to happen soon. But the thing with the Black Prism, the first book in this series, is that in this world, magic is based around colors. Each person can draft 1, 2, or more colors, and the most special of them all is the prism. He can basically draft every color, but magic here has consequences that the more you use it, the sooner you're going to die. So the Black Prism is basically counting his days, and we go from there. The first one was actually a really good book, so if you're into high fantasy, I highly recommend this series. Then I have here a Spanish book. This is El Viajero by David Lozano. This is the first book in La Puerta Oscura, and this is one of the books that I'm going to reread this year. This is actually on my March TBR, and I remember loving these books when I was a teenager, basically. So I'm really excited to do it, but yeah, I remember that they were. And yeah, as I told you, I'm really excited to continue. And this cover is astonishing. I mean, look at it. And the naked cover. I mean, so yeah, for where I remember, we follow Pascal. He's trying to get this costume on the attic, and he falls in this kind of gigantic coffin. And this one transports him to this land of the death, and he basically turns into the traveler, where he can travel between the world of living and the world of the death, and it's just so fantastic. And the last book that I have here is The Soul of the Sword by Yuli Kagawa. This is book 2 in the Shadow of the Fox trilogy, I think that is called. I read the first one, I don't know, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago when it came out, I'm not sure, but I remember really enjoying it. It was just like reading anime in a weird way, and lately I've been really in the mood to read more Asian inspired fantasy because I just read The Sword of Kagan and loved it. So I think that it's finally time for me to catch on. In the first book we follow Yumeko. She's a kitsune, meaning that she can turn into a fox, and she finds herself with this piece of super magical, important, ancient, and super wanted scroll. So basically everyone is coming after her, and we follow from there. We also follow a Ronin that has this kind of sword with a demon on it. Super cool. That's going to be all. These were basically all the books that I bought in February and March. Yeah, I think that's going to be all for today. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.